Hello friends, my name is Vanessa and I am a third semester nursing student, meaning that I have been through the nursing program for about a year. And today I'm going to be talking about 10 things I wish I knew before I started nursing school. So I used to watch these religiously before I started nursing school, and I felt like they were really helpful. So now that I have been through the program for a year, I wanted to share what I wish I knew before I started the nursing program. So let's get started. Okay, so I wrote down 10 different tips or things I wish I knew before I started nursing school. So we'll go down the list. So the first one I wrote was to find a group of people that you can rely on. So this can be your friends, this can be your clinical group, this can be classmates. But finding a group of people that you can rely on is so helpful. You go through the struggle of nursing school together, you can study together. Personally, for me, I have a group of friends, and so on the days before exams, we usually get together and study together, and we just bounce ideas off of each other. Or if we're working on homework, I can go to them and see how they did something, or if I have a question, I can go to them. So it's just really good to have somebody to have your back during nursing school and to understand what you're going through. So number 2 is grades aren't everything. This is something I personally really struggle still to this day. Obviously, to get into the nursing program, you have to have really good grades as it's so competitive, but that mindset followed me through nursing school. But this first year of nursing school has taught me that although, yeah, grades are important, and it's definitely important to try your best and do your best, an A isn't going to define how much you know. For example, this past semester, I finished it on Zoom or online, and I had so much free time. I felt like I knew so much and I learned so much, but I didn't get the grades I wanted. I didn't get the straight A's I wanted, but I definitely feel like I learned so much. So that really helped me validate the idea that grades aren't everything. So number 3 is the fact that I had to change my study habits. So before I started nursing school, I had a set study habit, and I heard every type of video saying that I was gonna have to change my study habit, but I thought, nope, mine is perfect. It has gotten me this far. I don't feel like I need to change it. So I didn't change it when I started nursing school. It did okay. It wasn't bad. I wasn't failing or anything, but I wasn't grasping the concept as much as I should have been. So what I did is I still kept that whiteboard method, but I only used it to learn facts, if that makes any sense. So your ABG values, your vital sign values, stuff that is a definite fact, stuff that is not going to change. Maybe the values will differ by 0.5, 0.4, but it's still in the same range. After that, I would get my NCLEX book and go through practice questions for whatever I was learning, and that really helped me solidify my knowledge and really helped me learn how to apply that knowledge. Number 4 is a basic one. One you've probably heard, it's time management. So as basic as it sounds, it's really important. You have so much to do during nursing school. You have class, you have clinicals, you have your life. If you work, you have to work. You have to study, which takes up the majority of your free time. So it's really important to manage your time wisely. I use a planner to manage my time, or like a Google Calendar to time block. So it's really important because once you're done with school and clinicals, it can be very easy to just relax. You're tired from a long day, but it's important to remember that you still have to study, and you also still have to make time for your friends and family. It might be hard in the beginning to adjust, but it'll definitely be worth it. And yeah. Number 5, I wrote down use your resources. What I mean by that is that there are plenty of resources for nursing school, not just your nursing school book. If you feel like maybe it's hard for you to understand it the way that it's being presented to you, you can use different materials. Some different resources that I use would be going to my professors. Your professors are so dedicated to their profession and to educating future nurses, so it's really helpful to get their perspective on maybe what you're not understanding, and maybe they can help simplify it. Another resource I use would be YouTube, like Registered Nurse RN, or just different YouTubers that do videos on, let's say, EKG strips. There's also obviously Google and online resources. So for example, if you have to learn how to read EKG strips, which we will, there are online resources that quiz you with EKG strips and then will tell you what you got wrong. And really quizzing yourself is such an important thing to do. So these online resources are really helpful. And another resource that I use constantly would be the NCLEX book. And the one I'm talking about, this one. So, this is what I use. It's so thick. This is what I use to get practice questions for my exams. Number 6 is something that I learned my first semester of nursing school, and I'm still learning now, which is to never change your answers on exams and to not second guess yourself. This is so hard. I definitely still struggle with this, but it is something that does help you in nursing school. It's so hard to not question your choices, especially on exams, because you start overthinking and then you go into this rabbit hole of like, oh, maybe the patient didn't have this and I'm reading it wrong, or you add diseases to the patient that doesn't say on the scenario. So not changing your answer is helpful. It helps you avoid going into that rabbit hole, and more likely than not, your first answer is probably the right one. Number 7 is kind of an obvious one, but something I didn't know was going to be how much of a commitment nursing school is to your entire life. There's so much time that is taken from your free time. It's such a commitment, but it's definitely worth it. Clinicals definitely solidifies that passion of nursing, taking care of people and helping people. But yeah, I didn't realize how much of a time commitment this would be. For number 8, I wrote down the money commitment and how expensive nursing school is. I feel like something that people don't really talk about is how expensive it really is. Straight off the bat, you have to get all your shots, right? If you don't have them, you have to get blood work done, you have to get a TB test, and so that adds up and it's really expensive. And then once you're done with that, you have to go buy your scrubs, which are expensive. You have to buy your patches, you have to buy your name tag, you have to buy a parking sticker for your car, sometimes a parking sticker for the different hospitals you go to. That adds up. And then books are so expensive. Like my first semester, I dropped $300 or more, I think, on books. It was so expensive. And then you have to purchase not only the books, you have to purchase sometimes online programs to turn in your homework or to have virtual simulation labs. It's so much money. But something that has helped me kind of reduce the cost would be asking other people if they bought the book and they're not going to use it again. So for example, if somebody's a semester ahead of you and they decided to buy the book and they feel like they're not going to use it again, maybe they can sell it to you for a cheaper price. You can also go to half price books to see if they have that specific book. I know a lot of our typical books, like our adult health book, our OB or women's health books, they can be found at half price books. Sometimes it's the wrong edition, so like let's say that you need the 9th edition but half price books has the 8th edition. Sometimes if you talk to your professor, they'll be okay with it because it has the same material. Sometimes they just add more things in, so that's something you could do. Number 9, I wrote, find something that can ground you and keep you sane during nursing school. This one sounds kind of weird, but nursing school is hard and sometimes it can be challenging to find motivation to keep going. So it's important to find something to bring you back in and to remind you why you want to finish this, why you want to be a nurse, why you need to keep going. This can be your why, your reasoning as to why you want to be a nurse. This can be a person, this can be a family member, this can be a friend, a significant other. This can be somebody that you talk to when you're feeling like you have no motivation. And this can also be a self-care activity. So just relaxing and doing self-care activities can really free up your mind and allow you to start thinking about why you really want to do this and why you want to be a nurse and why you want to help people for the rest of your life. Number 10 isn't a tip or anything, but I wrote, you can do it. It's so hard to to see that you can when you're in the midst of the struggle of nursing school. But no matter how hard it gets, you can do it. You made it this far. You're here for a reason. You made it to nursing school for a reason. It's so important to keep reminding yourself of that. And I know everybody talks about how hard it is, and I remember watching these videos and I was like, oh God, like this is impossible. I'm going to do so bad. But it's not that bad. It's hard, but it's not that bad. It's doable, and you got this. And if you're watching this before you start nursing school, my best advice would be to just stay organized and to find something that motivates you to keep going, because you've made it this far and you're gonna make it through nursing school. You're gonna be a wonderful nurse. So yeah. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any other video suggestions, you can leave them down below, or if you have any questions, you can leave them down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!